Hey, it's Ben Wise with ZOAR Fitness, and today I'm talking about wrist pain in the overhead squat. This is a super common problem, and I really have 3 different fixes that could help someone if they're having or experiencing overhead pain in the overhead squat. So the first thing is just starting to narrow your grip. So a lot of people, for snatches, they hold wide, but you don't necessarily need to hold that wide when you're doing overhead squats, especially if it's lighter. You can get a narrower position, and with a narrower position, the angle of your wrist is less harsh, so that you're probably going to have a little bit less just total tension and pain in that area. So again, the wider we are, the harsher that angle is, the further we bring those wrists in, the more straight that wrist is going to be. So that's the first thing we can do, is just bring those hands in. Even if it's just a fist width on each side, that's going to make potentially a pretty big difference for your wrist pain. The second is thinking about not just the upper body positioning, but also the lower body. So if we're someone who, when we go to squat, we have the hips go way back because we don't have very flexible hips or ankles, and we end up in this sort of position where the shoulders rounded forward and the wrist is bent back and the shoulders internally rotated, and we have no wiggle room. I'm not saying that internal rotation overhead is always bad, but us in this position and unable to do anything except try to hold here and to have that wrist make up all the ground and put all of that pressure right there, of course that's going to be the weak link in that chain, holding like that. So if we have nowhere else to go because we're way back here like this and we're arching and this whole system's put on stretch, that's going to be a big issue for us. So addressing the lower body mechanics so that we can get from here to here in that more upright torso squat and move much more up and down versus way like that. All right, so that's the second thing we do, is addressing the lower body mobility aspect of it. And then the last thing I would say, number 3 here, is really just starting to spend time in the position. So every time you overhead squat, not necessarily to do it for time or to do it for a max load overhead, but just getting more and more comfortable, spending more and more time with a barbell overhead, locked out, elbows completely obnoxiously locked out, and in that balanced overhead centrated position. If we can spend more time here and get more and more comfortable with the bar or even a PVC, stuck in this position, being able to find balance, be able to find center, be able to create tension through the forearm and the right position with the wrist, you'll begin to figure that out. And that's one of the things that can really be helpful, is just spending more time in that position to get those tissues tolerant of that position and in that mechanical stress that you're putting through those joints. So those would be my 3 things that I will work on: adopting a slightly narrower wrist position, working on your lower body mobility so you can squat with a more upright torso, and then getting the tissues volume tolerant and just overall the mechanics of the movement improving just by doing more reps of those movements. So let me know if you have any questions. We'll see you next time. So what I'll do is I'll just take that last little bit of audio, cut off the video, and then put that into the end screen.